There we go.
Yep.
You know. It over me.
You're gonna get that song stuck in my head now.
That's on fire, man. I can't look, man. That's my jam. I was listening to that earlier today. That's why it's in my head now.
What's he doing?
I need to get my charger for my cell phone.
Literally, was to plug something in. Like that, I thought you were about
plug it in, plug it in.
Plug that tree in or something. Like it was like a light.
Oh, there are lights in that tree. Actually, I put them in Christmas.
Ooh. Do you guys have real Christmas trees or fake Christmas trees? If you even if you have a Christmas tree at all.
We do fake Christmas trees here because they're easier to manage.
I always did fake trees because we've always had pets, and apparently real trees are toxic.
They're toxic to pets?
That's what I was always.
Oh God!
Those little thingies can get into their, stomachs and.
Yeah, also the things get everywhere.
Delicate, man.
I've always wanted a real tree. When I have like my own place, I'm definitely getting a real tree, even if we keep it outside. That's what the Kardashians do.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. What did I say?
You said let's get started.
To the live podcast. Welcome to the live podcast. My name is Aaron.
My name's Camille.
I'm WDW.
And I'm Matt. It took me a second. I was trying to figure out what that stood for.
When you got here, I thought it said
it's my initials.
No, at first I thought it said
what would Jesus do? That's what I thought.
No, I thought he's always doing some Black Power thing. So I thought I was waiting, I don't know, world
peace.
I read WMD, like the weapon of mass destruction, like woo. That's what I read initially.
Anyway, moving on from my crazy thought. What's new with y'all?
Nothing much.
Just quarantining.
Oh,
actually, I don't know if I told you guys this last week, but I've been working on redoing my room a little bit.
She did tell us that.
Yeah, I got a couple more things to hang. And yeah, it's starting to come together. I'd say about 3/4 of the way done. No, won't give myself that much. Maybe about a halfway there. Maybe.
Well, that's good. That's exciting.
It's a nice little project.
Right. Everyone needs a little refresh.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
What's up, Miss Hilton?
Hello.
Hi, Mama Hilton.
Anything new with anybody else? I ain't got nothing new, to be honest with you.
I want to say that I have something exciting going on, but I don't. But something is brewing. Not gonna say what it is yet. You all know.
Are you pregnant?
No.
Oh man.
Definitely wouldn't announce it on here like that. If I was.
Surprise.
So we're gonna go ahead and hop into our first hot topics, and it's kind of a dual topic. One of them just happened today, actually. It was today or yesterday, and we're gonna talk about what Knicks was yesterday, or I thought Nick was today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got fired.
Knicks was yesterday, and he got fired today.
Okay.
And Deshaun Jackson happened, I think, last week?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, last week or something like that. So Deshaun Jackson and Nick Cannon on two separate occasions. Deshaun Jackson's a football player on the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Cannon, movie star, producer, entertainer. If you don't know who Nick Cannon is, I don't even know how you watching us if you don't know who Nick Cannon is. But anyway, they have been, I don't know. They've said some anti-Semitic things in the last couple of days or a couple of weeks, and have come under fire for it. The Eagles put out a statement saying that the Deshaun Jackson statements were unacceptable, and they're looking into maybe how they're going to handle that. Nick Cannon, Viacom went so far, the company who owns MTV, BET, VH1, a couple of other networks as well. they have fired him from his show Wild 'N Out. And I actually just found out that Nick Cannon, I thought he owned Wild 'N Out. Apparently he doesn't. Viacom bought
I
Wild 'N
thought
Out.
so too.
Yeah, I thought he owned it as well.
I found out today that Viacom actually bought it from him. So he doesn't even own that show. So they technically can keep that show going on without him. I don't think it would be the same if they did.
No way.
But I'm just curious on y'all thoughts on what they said. Some of y'all know a little bit more than I do about what they said. I can at least read you. So Deshaun Jackson, I'm not going to read it, the whole thing, but Deshaun Jackson, I don't know if this is a real quote from Hitler that he posted or a fake quote from Hitler.
It's a fake quote.
He thought he was quoting Hitler.
So he thought he was quoting Hitler. And he wasn't. I don't know why you would
Why would you want to quote him in the first place?
If you thought you were quoting Hitler, that it's very dumb. And then Nick Cannon on his podcast / radio show that he runs on his own platforms, he went on this lengthy rant, calling white people closer to animals, a little bit barbaric, saying like not real Jews. It was a lot that he said. I'm not going to play the video because it's like 5-10 minutes long to get the full context of what he said. But so I have my thoughts, but I'm gonna reserve them. I'm just going to open up the floor and see what y'all think first.
I think that this has been a growing thought as far as the Black Hebrews and the Black community. At first, we had African Americans pre-civil rights and during civil rights who were actually becoming actual Jews. They were going through the rites of passage and actually becoming Jews. Then after civil rights, we had a lot of people going into the Nation of Islam and converting to Islam. And now we have this new age thought where I feel like it's a combination of the two, with the Black Hebrews, who they think that they're the true Israelites and Black people are the true Israelites, and that the Jews currently today who proclaim that they are Jew are not actually Jewish. I think that those are dangerous thoughts. I think that it's also indicative of the fact that we are disconnected to our history and our cultural connection to Africa. And so because of that, you have some Black people who are spinning off of the rails and are believing, things that it's not true. It's not historic. It's not biblical. We as African Americans, if anything, our lineage comes from countries that border the west of Africa, not something that borders Arab countries, which that's where Jesus was from. He was from an Arab country. So I understand why Black people are quick to say stuff like Jesus was Black, the real Jews are Black people. But ultimately, if you're not of an Arab descendant, you really don't have any. He can't say anything. Those are our cousins, but that ain't us.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because when you said that, when you were talking, the first thing I thought of was like, you in the Black community always hear the phrase Jesus was Black and things like that. And I think sometimes it gets maybe misconstrued. Sometimes in probably somebody thinks Jesus is Black, they might think the Black that that I am or that you are Darnell or whatever, something like that. But it's different. Was he a person of color? Absolutely. Well, he probably had, brown skin. He's talking woolly hair, but it's not the same, like you said, as Black from those West African countries that a lot of the African Americans descend from today due to, transatlantic slave trade and all of that.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was interesting. My main thing was how the comments were responded to, because obviously, like you said, Nick Cannon was fired immediately. Deshaun Jackson, his were a couple weeks ago, and as of now, he hasn't been fired. That's one of the first things that the Eagles said. I'm not mad about that, but honestly, I feel like a couple weeks ago, the Eagles are never any match. You never hear anything coming out of Philly. I should have knocked on wood or something because this is a big one. But yeah, I definitely thought it was interesting how the comments are responded to, and the main thing that the Eagles was and Darnell mentioned it earlier. It's all about how you kind of move forward, I guess. If you want to educate yourself, because Deshaun Jackson met with he did a Zoom call with a Holocaust survivor, and now he's going to go to Auschwitz, everything like that. So it's all about I think how you educate yourself and move forward, and more action than just saying I'm sorry, or I didn't mean it, or something like that.
Right. My thing is if you're gonna say something, I don't know. It's
Camille,
own it. I am. Like, I'm just so fed up because my thing is like, it's one thing to be like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend anybody.
Mhm.
All right, because you don't want to be offensive.
Yeah.
But if you're saying something, just, to me, stand by it. If you said it and you meant it, mean it. Like, I don't know. It's one thing to be like, oh, I had no idea. All right, that's fair. You didn't know.
Mhm.
I can accept that. But if your opinion stands, then let your opinion stand. Like, don't just go back in your opinion because, like, oh my gosh, like now I might get fired. Should have thought of that before you said it. And this goes with anything, anybody, any opinion that you may have.
Like,
if you're gonna put what you feel and what you say out there,
there's consequences. There can be consequences.
There can be consequences, unfortunately. But like at the end of the day, it's like the only thing you can do is like that. If it was true ignorance, obviously you can own to that, and you have to learn from that. But if it's an opinion that doesn't cause, how do I say this? Like
it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, like it doesn't necessarily hurt anybody per se, but it's nothing that's like outlandish, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe what I'm saying.
Well,
I'm
like
just
you can say
saying,
things out of ignorance.
You can say things out of ignorance. Like that's ignorance. But like if you have an opinion, honestly, just own your opinion.
The biggest thing for me was I was honestly just surprised that Nick Cannon was fired so as fast as he was.
Yeah,
that was the only reason I said it's a big surprise for me is because we've seen instances. I don't know, and maybe it might be because there's this new wave of
cancel culture.
Yeah,
that, and I'll say companies feeling like they have to hold themselves responsible for their employees' actions. But honestly, yeah, I was surprised. I'm really curious to see in the future, like, because I actually like Wild 'N Out. I feel like I'm one of the few people that still be watching it. Like, if it's on, I'll leave it on. I follow Wild 'N Out on Instagram. I'll be watching the clips. I find it funny. But I'm very curious to see how it'll be without him because, like I said, I don't know how contracts work, yada yada, all that. But I'm sure the cast members are under contract. But moving forward, because a lot of the cast members have already, come out to say that they stand with Nick and all this, that, and the third. And I really wouldn't be surprised if we lick up. Like, Nick has the platform in the pool that if he wanted to recreate, don't call it Wild 'N Out because Viacom maybe owns that name, but
Out and Wild.
Different platform.
Exactly. Like I was thinking, just
comedians that are currently on Wild 'N Out going to that new platform.
P. Diddy already said that he can be on Revolt.
Yeah, like a black-owned network that would do like.
I've heard the statement. I've heard this a lot too. Like
I thought that too.
Real for a while.
Yeah,
I've heard that as well.
I thought that too. Like I feel like companies will look for something to be able to fire you for. Yeah. But also I also think that they probably had the idea of let us deal with, let's fire him now before people come for us saying that we should fire him. But now that there's been a lot of Black people that I've seen on Instagram who have been like, I stand with Nick. So many people actually more for him than against him. I find it interesting.
I'm surprised, yeah.
I'm like surprised that they were so quick with it. And I would have waited. I would have waited to see what the people's response were. And if they wanted me to fire them, then I would have been like, all right, let's have a meeting about it.
I feel like that's cowardice.
I mean, I'm saying if it's a company like right, like every company sits back and waits to see, like,
how it's going to react and what's the best way
it's going to be received. Because especially if they don't know, because a lot of these companies don't know what's offensive and what's not offensive, apparently.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't understand. They have empathy with what's going on in the world, but not depending on who's the top dog, whether they're Black or not. Like some of them, even if they were Black, some of them just don't understand what's going on. So they don't know how to respond to certain things. So it's like, okay, should we be offended by this? Should we fire them? Like, it's one of those things where you kind of have to sit back and wait for what the people say.
But at the same time, when a person says things like white people are closer to animals, true savages, acting out of a deficiency, so the only way they can act is evil. That is divisive rhetoric. And I don't listen, I love Nick Cannon. I love some of the shows he created. I think that he had the prospects of being really big and ultimately maybe being one of those maybe being one of those people who could create something like their own network and being like the next Oprah.
Because he was everywhere.
But because of these things, he has to answer for the stuff that he said. And I also want to remind Black people who are very quick to defend Nick and also defend what he said, which, it's one thing to defend Nick, it's another thing to defend what he said, because I think that what he said is apprehensible. But remember that down in Charleston, South Carolina, when those white men took those tiki torches, they were marching for white supremacy. They were saying things against Black people. They were saying things like Jews will not replace us. We are not each other's enemy. We are not fighting against the Jewish community. We are not fighting against the Latino community. We're not fighting against indigenous and native persons. We are all victims of the same system, of the same people, and that's white patriarchy, that's white supremacy. And until we actually get that and get together and stop fighting against each other, we're going to allow the master to toy with our minds and to make us fight against each other when we really don't have any problems with each other. What do you mean? See our vocabulary.
Really interesting what you just said, Darnell, and it makes me think of something we talked about last week on the podcast, and makes me want to say, was Terry Cruz's tweet not that crazy? Because basically what Nick didn't outright say Black lives are better, but like you just said, in that's not what the Black Lives Matter movement is trying to be about. That's not what, I would want to say the majority of Black people aren't trying to be about. And in the sense of what Nick was saying, in the sense of like calling, white people inherently evil and like close to animals and barbarians and all that stuff he was saying, that's kind of what Terry was sort of saying,
I feel like both statements are out of
Terry.
I feel like they're both wrong.
Granted, we all know Terry probably wasn't thinking it from like, I'm not saying Terry was right.
I wasn't thinking that deeply.
I just see that correlation there. That is definitely, y'all can see the connection.
It seems like, based on Nick's response, it seemed like he didn't really understand why people were offended. Like when I read his response, his reply, like he seemed like when I read it, he genuinely did not seem like he understood why people were upset and why people were offended. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you give your opinion, say your opinion. You have to be clear, and you can't just throw out words. You can't just throw out words and throw out things and think that people are going to understand. Like, I'm a fairly reasonable person where I can like read between the lines of what somebody's saying before I get super offended by it. But it's like, if people don't have that type of, shut up, Darnell. If people don't have that type of like mentality, then, this is what happens.
Yeah.
People get offended. So like, you got to pick your words and choose your words wisely. Yeah. And like I said, I only say that because he seemed genuinely surprised that people were even offended by what he said.
You have to choose their words and choose their words wisely and everything like that. But on the other side, I feel like some people got to choose their battles, because some people get offended by every little thing, whereas sometimes it's really not that deep. But so then when people get offended by everything, it makes the big things more minuscule. You know what I'm saying? Like, people make a mountain out of a molehill, and then when it actually is a mountain, people are like, "Oh, you got mad at that little thing last week," when it really wasn't that serious. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a street.
Yeah.
I think that Nick was just giving us Hotep rhetoric, and he wanted to, and nobody likes a Hotep. They're just awful people that should just fall off the face of the earth. I'm sorry.
You can't say that.
They are. I cannot stand a Hotep. They get on my last.
They make great memes, though.
But they defeat the purpose of what we're doing right now. What Nick said is it counteracts what we're trying to do, as far as bringing people together, as far as trying to bring justice to different things. I'm upset that Nick Cannon has been trending more than Breonna Taylor and all the others who have yet to receive justice. It's a shame. It's a shame because, honestly, first of all, I'm angry at what he said. I don't agree with it at all completely. I have people who have Jewish backgrounds who are Jewish, and it just upsets me completely and gets under my skin. And then on top of that, there's other things that we need to be focusing on other than Nick Cannon saying stupid stuff and getting fired, which rightfully I think he should have got fired because he said some stupid stuff. So I know black people are gonna be mad at me and black Twitter might get me, but well.
Well,
I think black Twitter knows you.
Stuff.
They know me.
Jada didn't want to call what her and August had a relationship. She wanted to call it an entanglement.
Okay.
Even Will was annoyed by that comment. He was like, an entanglement.
It's not a water bottle, it's a H2O container.
This isn't a lamp, it's a light giver.
So, look, there you go. You got some backup. So, for those of you who don't know, Jada and Will went to the Red Table Talk Monday, Friday?
Something like that. Sure.
I thought it was
somewhere between after we recorded last episode of today, like
after we recorded.
Yeah, they went to the Red Table Talk and laid it all out. Now, I watched this a couple of times. I think I've seen the whole thing like 2 or 3 times.
That's a lot. Okay.
And well, one, I'm a big Will Smith fan, huge Will fan, and I just be nosy. So it's quarantine. Ain't much else to do. I'm nosy. And I got some thoughts. So she called it an entanglement. She kept calling it an entanglement. Will said, Jada, come on now. Let's
right.
Was it?
Call a duck a duck.
Exactly.
Affleck.
I was really surprised by this because Jada didn't really seem. At the end of the day, I feel bad for August a little bit because only reason I felt bad for August in this specific situation because from August's interview that he did with Angela Yee, that man was in love.
He was in love. He was so hurt.
And then,
Jada got that.
And then the way Jada talked about it, she just was talking about she just wanted to feel good. She hadn't felt good in a while. Right. And of course, it's going to feel good to anybody that's older. If someone basically half your age that the rest of the world also finds attractive, is attracted to you, it's going to make you feel good. So I just felt like she was using him a little bit there. I didn't really like it.
I kind of got that vibe as well.
Yeah. And Will looked up. Will ain't over it. Will ain't over it.
So hurt. He looked
like he was crying.
So
he was looking like I don't want to be here.
Like he went through like the whole thing all over again. I just
Adrian.
think that I think it's interesting how she kind of like didn't take ownership, but did and tried to like sugarcoat it and make it seem like it was like it was just a little thing. Yeah, it's like she tried to make it seem like it wasn't anything that was that deep. Right. And at the end of the day, like regardless of whether you guys are separated or not, to me, I'm like, okay, if you're separated, you really should be trying to work on yourself. I'm not trying to judge, but from the people who I've seen get divorced in my life and gone through separation, they're too busy working on themselves than being in another fling with somebody else.
Well, that was, I guess, part of her.
Part
of her healing.
I'm not trying to judge her, but I'm just saying that, like, it seems like she sought healing in the relationship, which I think is very. Oh yeah, no, people do it. Yeah, but I mean, it's very like a sensitive thing because at the end of the day, the only person that gets hurt is the person that you're in the entanglement with.
Right. It's like it's more to me. It got more the vibe of like she wanted her cake and like to eat it too. You know, to have like Will over here be separated, whatever, married, whatever they want to call it, but also be in this entanglement with another person. That's more of like something to make you feel good, or like, you know, maybe when she's mad at Will today, you go hang out with August tomorrow. You know, like it seemed more of that to me. Like, how she tried to make it like he was just more of convenience. August.
Well, I think that just remembering the video correctly, that they did both her and Will agreed that at that time they were both completely separated
They
with the intentions of full divorce. Like Will said, I was done with your ASS. Like I was completely done. And so that's when her situation.
Wait, you won't say ass, but you'll say hell.
Can I finish what I'm saying? Thank you. Anyway, I think that remembering that, again, they were separated. It wasn't like they were in a relationship with each other. I mean, all they had was a marriage by certificate at that point. And so I don't fully agree with it, but I can see why she didn't see it as such a big deal, because again, it wasn't like they were together. Also, I think that August got a lot of stuff out of this relationship with Jada as well. Him hanging out with the Smiths. First of all, they were helping him with his addictions. They were helping him with his health stuff. And then also, you're a lesser known R&B artist. Now you're hanging out with the Smiths. That brings your name up to prominence some. So I think that there was a quid pro quo. Thank you.
I don't
with
know
what was happening.
But I feel like it was you. Like, I feel like they were both on the same accord to help him. And then somewhere along the lines,
right,
Jada and Will just decided not to be together. And then because she was so close with him, that's how it became more of a thing. But initially, they weren't.
Also, they were scratching each other's back, helping him out. And
because he's good friends with Jaden. August was good friends with their
Those kids are weird. We ain't even talking about them weird
kids. But that's how August. That's why they were helping him, because August was around because he was cool with their kids, which is even crazier because that means he their kids' age.
Right.
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
August is our age. He I think 27, 28. He our age.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Wait. Hold on. You're gonna say,
mother.
Aaron, I have a bone to pick with you. You're gonna say he's our age, but want to call me old.
I just wish for not Camille's. Nobody heard me.
Oh, August. There's a difference.
Let me say this, not to explain away, but if I had a shot with Miss Adrian, who's Jada's mother, I would go for it, because them jeans are good. I'm just saying. But also at the same time, I don't think that August has clean hands either. And I'm a little bit upset.
Move on.
I'm a little bit upset that people are so quick to defend August. I think that August is a bit troubled and has shown this troubleness because he's even been lashing out against Keke Palmer, and just making some very strange.
But
they got their own issues. That has nothing to do with Jada and all that.
Not to dummy it down, but he had a lot of death in his family all around the same time. He's got all these autoimmune diseases. He was battling a whole lot of mental health stuff. So I'm not saying he's perfect. No, I'm not. But all I'm saying is Jada wasn't really trying to own up to nothing either. She was looking real defensive. She was all
she didn't slander August. If you notice that she never talked bad about August.
He never slandered her, so why would she?
Anything bad about her?
I'm just saying it would be an easy he said she said type of situation.
That man
she could have easily said,
I'm in love. I've experienced true love. I can die today. That man said I could die today.
And that's serious. Man was hurt. He was strong.
And she
more.
She went back to her husband. August should have known that, first of all, I mean, they never leave. They never leave their actual spouse. So he should have been a little bit wiser.
The problem is that I feel like she even said that at first he was just somebody who, she could help. Yeah. So it's and I think that's the part that kind of gets me, is that if the worst thing you could do with somebody who is depressed or on drugs or whatever it is, make them feel the vulnerability is everything. So if they choose you to be vulnerable with them, that means a lot. It means something. So I just have a problem with Jada. It came across, and I don't know whether she meant this or not, but it just came across as she was basically just saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
But can I just say, isn't it like a part? And I'm not one.
It's really how I feel about it.
To go into gendered issues and try to create, just broad generalizations of each gender. But I feel like some women, a good number of women.
I know about
they like.
Be careful.
They like to do some fix-ups. They look at a man and they're like, oh, if I could just get in a relationship with them, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could style him like that, I could, fix this habit, I could, I'm gonna be his savior.
Like a
and
they're not like hearing, but that's not how their relationship started. Will and Jada were his, like Camille said, they were mentors to this boy. He was
I'm just saying,
and while
Jada wanted to feel needed. Jada wanted to feel needed. She wanted to feel needed in every sense of the term.
That's the problem that we're all saying. That's why
that's what we're saying.
And she saw a project that she could fix up.
And that's what we're saying. Jada's in the wrong.
So now, have you been in this conversation?
You literally saying what we said. Jada took advantage. You just said Jada saw a problem, took advantage of his problem, and then tossed him out.
I'm just saying. Sometimes they look at a situation and they want to fix it up, and Jada wanted to fix something up.
That's what we literally just said.
That's what you said. That it was like a quid pro quo. They were scratching each other's back, doing stuff for each other. That was your point.
I know. I'm just saying that some women are like that. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's a woman thing. I think people are like that.
Yeah.
I'm not, because if I have to fix you up, then you ain't supposed to be for me anyway.
People do that with friends. Be like, come hang out with me.
What does this even mean? This ain't Frozen.
Let me tell you, when I watch Home Improvements and they're like, I want to fix her up, or I want to fix her up, I'm like, y'all sound stupid.
Look, here you go. See, women do be getting ridiculed for saying they overlook me, because guys always like, oh, you don't want to see my potential. Now, I might be here now, but you got to see my potential or what I could be. You just
say that for themselves.
But I could do something later. You feel me?
They say that in defense of their man. You be whole broke, ain't got a job, ain't got license, but driving around in her car, and she's like, I'm just trying to fix him up. I'm trying to get him to be with. You can't do that. You can't look into. You have to accept somebody as they are, and that's it.
Rhetoric for women anymore. At least the women I know. Women I know off that. At least the women who I know, they off that.
The last talking ship that I was in, that I was in, a girl she wanted to fix talking ship.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
I'm about to skip you and go to the next topic.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Want to dress me? Want to do all this?
Y'all know how hard I'm holding my tongue.
No. That's just women. Women just like dressing people.
No, but it was beyond that. Like they were planning out my whole entire life, and I'm like, I don't.
Who's they? This. Oh, he got women's. He got women's. Okay, plural. He said they.
Blank in different area codes, and
He's
y'all
out here being Hugh Hefner in the streets.
I do have roads.
Any final thoughts on Jada and Will before we move on? Shout out to my man Will. Oh, real quick.
I feel bad for you, Will.
I feel bad for Will, but I also don't. Because Will was like, Will joked in there. He was like, I'm going to have to get you back. Ha, ha, ha. And she was like, no, you got me back. Do we need to pull out your closets, your skeletons out the closet as well? He was
probably with his ex-wife.
Right. No, I don't think it was his ex-wife. I guarantee you Will has some hoes. I guarantee you.
Sure.
But he made them sign NDAs.
You want me to bring out your drawers out your closet?
That's why you need an NDA. Good. As
soon as Jada
wanted to start doing that.
Talking ship is the new entanglement.
But first of all, I think Jada should have been smarter and made August sign an NDA once they got into a relationship, because that would have protected her and she wouldn't have had to go on the red table talk, the shortest red table talk ever. Oh, Miss Hilton told me to stop it. But no, I think that NDA, that's just the way to go. I think that that's the lesson to learn here, is that if you're famous and you got money and you want to be in an entanglement, get an NDA so that you don't have to deal with this later.
NDAs were what the rich people be doing. So I don't know. Somebody got to inform me on where this happened. But Portia, Yandy, Tamika, y'all just naming people.
I mean Atlanta, I'm assuming.
Right?
Not in Atlanta.
Football player
to Kentucky.
They got arrested. They were protesting somewhere and then were arrested. What happened?
So what happened is that because of Breonna Taylor's case not going anywhere, they decided to go to the state of Kentucky's their AG. They went to his house and they protested outside of his house. Remember the one that is black and is a Republican and is not doing anything. So they went to his house and they were pretty much protesting, and they were arrested and sent to jail. And I think they actually have charges as well. And there are a couple of charges.
I think.
What was that?
I think I saw earlier today or yesterday that Portia's free.
I think
Portia is free. They're all free. All of them are free now, but they are facing charges. I think one of them is like trying to force an official in a public case, something of that nature. So a whole lot of just like, but ultimately I just want to just shout them out because they're doing the, hard work. They're celebrities who are using their platforms in positive ways, trying to affect change, trying to bring attention to things that need to be seen in the public eye and be spoken about in public discourse, not just for a week, but until something happens and until something is resolved.
80 plus people was protesting at what's the name, at AG's house.
Yeah.
Charles.
One thing I will say about Portia Williams during
we went to grad school together. I dropped out. He finished. He's a smart kid. Smart guy. Trash. Yeah. But continue.
One thing I will say about Portia Williams during this whole thing is that she's really like been bringing out that like Hosea Williams like civil rights like part inside her. Like she's really like been doing her thing. Like I've seen her like speaking out like since all this started. Like she was on Watch What Happens Live, I think 2 nights, and they just did the whole like thing like talking about Black Lives Matter. Like they weren't even talking about a Bravo show. They were just like Andy brought her and I forget who else on, and he just let them talk about like what's going on, like what Black Lives Matter means to you, and like protesting and everything like that. So she's definitely been doing her thing. Kudos to her, and it made me like and respect her a lot more because I always have liked her, but this made me like her for like other reasons that just like are entertaining you on TV,
Yeah.
She's coming far away from not knowing what the Underground Railroad was.
And 265 days.
Oh, you know what? I saw a comment that said that, and I didn't understand, and now it's really funny now.
There got to be somewhere to open up for the train. Well, no, it's supposed to be opening because someone's driving the train.
Harriet Tubman was on that train. She was like, "You ain't going back." So pretty much because Portia, she used to not know stuff, but she's with the movement now. She's been protesting as well as Tamika Mallory, Yandy Smith. They have all been very vocal, and so I just appreciate them and the other persons. Yandy. I appreciate all of them going out there and doing the hard work, and I hope that all their cases hopefully will be dropped because they're just doing what we need to be doing, and that's protesting the man. Even if he's a black man who doesn't want to do stuff that he's supposed to do. And he's in a sunken place.
I feel you, but actually on the docket, guys, Hamilton is on Disney Plus. And
woo! I watched it.
I haven't seen it
so
yet.
Good.
So
Alexander Hamilton.
I need to watch it, right? But I see some people, they was like, look, we've tried to watch it. I turned it off, tried to watch it, turned it off. I've already came to the conclusion that I need to watch it with subtitles. I've already come to that conclusion. Because I feel like they can be talking fast or singing fast, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
It's not bad. It's not like it's like a Twista type of fast rapping, but it's more like it just has rhythm to it, and just like you can understand it. Right. You'll get the gist of what's saying. You're not going to need it.
It's really good.
It's not mumble rapping.
I saw it live last year.
All right, what's going to flex on us then, man? That's cool.
Well, I saw it in Philly last year, and then obviously the first time seeing it was amazing. And I had my expectations already high because I listened to the soundtrack and loved that, but like seeing it live was just like 10 times better than that. So I already had high expectations for this too. I'm like, I already saw it, so it's really going to be more of the same. But seeing it, how they did it on Disney Plus, like the production and like everything, it made even seeing it live like outdid those expectations. So it's like it's just an amazing story and an amazing show, and
When I tell you that I held my breath when
I don't know.
Started
I feel like I missed something here. Maybe I said something, but I don't.
I was holding my breath when I was watching it.
watch it.
Yeah. I was holding my breath when I was first watching it, just because it's been something that I've been wanting to watch.
How many times have you seen it?
Huh?
When I first started to watch it the first time, I was like holding my breath because it was just like I was just like brimming with anticipation, and it met and exceeded all my anticipations, even on Disney Plus. I still want to go to the theater and watch it though in 2021.
Yeah,
when the theaters finally open.
About the theaters. Oh, you said I need subtitles. Well, the reason I said I need subtitles is the reviews I've heard. Everybody was saying it was real fast and like
you just have to pay.
They can sometimes.
That's the thing. You can't like.
I can't like look away and like go days off for a couple seconds. You gotta actually be paying attention.
No. You can't. You have to pay attention. But at least even if you don't really understand maybe a word or two, you get the gist of what's being said. Like it's not like you'll figure it out. It's not that.
If you can listen to Shakespeare, you can listen to this.
That's a stretch.
Yeah,
that's a stretch.
No, but I feel like when you listen to Shakespeare or you watch a Shakespearean play, there's a lot of stuff that we might not understand or get, but we understand the gist in the movement. Exactly.
Okay, I got you. I see what you mean now.
Thank you.
One thing I really like that Lin-Manuel Miranda, the writer and director,
he did everything.
Said about
a genius.
Yeah, he did everything about it. But one thing he said about it is the reason why he picked like diverse characters to play like historical figures, which are obviously white people in 1776 founding America. The reason why he picked diverse people to like represent these people is because he wants it to look like America today. And
I heard. That's what I heard. I heard that.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
David Diggs
he's good. He was good in it. He added the way he delivered it. Like he added a nice little flair.
I know who that is.
And Lamar
real quick. I didn't know who that was.
And Leslie Odom.
I just call him Bo's brother.
Because he's on Blackish.
He's on Blackish as Bo's brothers. Real quick, I just seen this. Guys, apparently Twitter was hacked today. Yes. Twitter was hacked.
Did they delete Donald Trump's
bunch
account?
Of the biggest.
I was on Hulu all day. I was off the grid.
Sorry, my nieces and nephews like screamed just now, and
we can't hear you.
What's can't happening?
Hear me. I can't hear you because they're talking over you.
Oh,
who was? I didn't say a word.
Apple got hacked. Cash App got hacked. A bunch of Kanye got hacked. Like a bunch of celebrities. And basically, somebody hacked it and put out this tweet saying, "Hey, we feel like giving back today. Send us $1,000 and we'll send you $2,000 back."
Yeah.
And mad people got scammed.
Survival of the fittest.
When I looked, because they said send it in Bitcoin, and I guess with Bitcoin you can see how much money had been sent or something. I don't know. And at the time when I had first seen it, at least and within 2 minutes, like $50,000 had been sent.
Wow.
People are wild. I just wanted to share that. I don't really have no other thoughts, but people really wild.
Quarantine's messing with people's brains.
My thing is, if you had the power, if I could hack Twitter, like what would you do if you could hack Twitter? I know personally,
$50,000 real quick.
I know personally, I would delete Donald Trump's Twitter account and pretty much try my best to lock him from ever having a Twitter account again. That's what I would do.
No, I would say some wild stuff, try to get him kicked out, but
he says wild stuff all the time. He ain't getting kicked out.
I would probably do a cash scam like happened today because apparently it works.
That's what I'm saying. I got 50K in 2 minutes. You could have started quarantine learning how to hack, and by now you'd be a great hacker, and then you just put your skills to the test.
Nice.
But moving on, and I just wanted to share that because I literally it just popped up on my Twitter feed, and so I did a couple of clicks and seen it. Moving on to, I guess I'll say, a more serious topic. The passing of Naya Rivera. Her body has been found after missing for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And her death was confirmed on the 7-year anniversary of Corey Monteith, and they were both cast members on Glee. If I'm not mistaken. Which is why I didn't actually watch her on Glee, because I didn't watch Glee, but I seen her a lot when she was younger, and a lot of the stuff that she was in. She was younger. I watched all those shows she was in.
Smart guy.
Yeah,
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Even Stevens.
Remember that episode, the Prime episode, where he had like 3 dates?
Yeah.
She was one of them.
You don't remember?
Yes, I do. I do remember that one vaguely. I honestly I watched Smart Guy.
It's on Disney Plus.
Sister, but I would watch it here and there. They'll try to play me.
Yeah, and it was crazy about this when I remember hearing about the story. I don't, to this day, and from what I've tried to find out, I still don't know like what happened, how it happened. It's just like a crazy like.
From what I understand, her and her son went out on this lake on like a boat ride, just them, I think, and then, like, the currents got too strong, they got pulled out too far, and I guess like capsized or whatever, and then she used the last of her strength to get her son back up on the boat,
capsized,
or something. Or
I know she helped her son get back on the boat.
She didn't have her life vest on. That's the thing.
Yeah, because I remember the son was.
He had his life vest.
The son was found within 3 days, and then they said when the reporters talked to him or they interviewed the son or whatever, they said he said my mommy put me on the boat, and then she disappeared. Yeah. So that's what I understand. Like something happened that it got too far out, and somehow no. He said me and my mommy went swimming.
Yeah.
And I guess
she jumped in, and he said that she never came back.
And I think that it's also important to note that the lake that she.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to note that the lake that she was on actually is not a lake; it's a reservoir, and so somebody I think maybe like last year I think died in that body of water last year.
It's a big difference.
And so it's just it's such a sad tragedy because I watched Glee a lot back in high school, and I always enjoyed her character. I enjoyed her as a person, and I think that it's just a tragic loss. Prayers to her son, prayers to her family, and just again because this is summertime and people are going to be going out on lakes and stuff. Make sure that you do your research. Make sure that it's not actually a reservoir. Be careful in lakes, be careful in streams, be careful in the ocean with riptides, because it's one of those losses where you're like, it didn't have to happen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. As a former lifeguard, if you're going into an open body of water, like a lake, an ocean, anything like that, never go by yourself. Like there should always be more than one adult if you're going to go in the ocean, lake, bay, anything like that that's not a pool. Even with a pool, sometimes
where there's water, there
should always be at least 2 adults.
Yeah. Chance the Rapper put up some tweets about Biden and Kanye.
It escalated quickly.
It did escalate. I remember seeing some tweets about Biden and Kanye, like he wasn't agreeing or something. I don't really remember what he was saying. I just remember it blew up. By the time I got to my timeline, he was already backpedaling because Terry Crews was like, "Hey, finally somebody else agrees with me." He was like, "Wait, I went too far."
The tweet I originally saw, he was like, "I think people are more focused on getting Trump out of office than getting the best Democratic person." Because like basically, he was saying he doesn't trust Biden, and why not Kanye? And he was saying he gets Kanye's points and like stuff like that.
Yeah. It was something that it was like a question. I feel like that kind of escaped him and just got too far.
Yeah.
And again, it's like your verbiage. Gotta make sure your verbiage is on point.
Like, have you ever just had a thought and then you start tweeting it, and then as you read it back, you're like, maybe I shouldn't really write that, and then you delete it and then go back. Yeah, that's he should have went back on that one.
Well, I think because Chance has been mentored by Kanye and has looked up to Kanye for so long, and that's another Chicago native, I think that's why he I don't know why he would, but that's why he tweeted what he tweeted. I think that I understand why there would be distrust with Biden just because he hasn't had the best history. But when looking at Biden or Trump, I'm going with Biden.
Will cuss 50 out?
I didn't even.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
I know that 50 Cent had said something about Will and Jada, but I don't remember it being cussed outable.
50 DM'd Will and was DMing a whole bunch of BS about Jada.
Yeah, I remember that.
thank you for bringing it up because I didn't know.
50 needs to focus on making sure that he's taking care of his kids and paying his child support. That's what he needs to focus on.
No, 50 just need to make sure these new Power sequels are good. That's what 50 need to focus on. These new Power sequels that coming out and
focus on your own kids.
All 20 of them. I was talking about the Power sequel.
He just had one.
No, he has more than one.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Meg Thee Stallion got shot, y'all.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. So I think it was over the weekend. She was hanging out with Tory Lanez.
And Kylie.
Well, she was hanging out with Kylie, but apparently Kylie wasn't with them when the guns got involved. She must have left when the guns got involved.
She did that. She was
well, because over the weekend we heard that. Well, we thought we heard that they had got arrested, and they got put on some like gun charges. But then it comes out today. Meg puts out a statement. No, I didn't get arrested. The cops were actually there to help me because I got shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Oh,
yeah, I read her Instagram statement. She was like,
hey, Jasmine.
Thank you. She was also, like I heard, it's definitely, I think, been confirmed that Tory Lanez got arrested. I think.
Tory got gun charges. He got charged for unregistered.
Yeah, because he had the weapon in the cars. Yeah, he got arrested. And she put out an Instagram statement that was like, yeah, I was never arrested. Just want to make that clear. The cops are actually driving me to the hospital because I got shot.
Yeah, she got hurt in the foot.
And had surgery to remove the bullet. And she said she would be okay and expected to make a full recovery and everything. But she mainly just wanted to, like, I guess, clear her name. People
I mean, I would probably want to clear my name too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because hi, Jasmine. Because she ain't with the thug, gang. She ain't with that mess.
But what makes it interesting, the reason I think people say they know it wasn't Kylie that was there because Meg's like friend / manager said, I was with them when it happened. I was not the one who shot Meg though. And allegedly it was only 3 people there. So that leaves Meg, Tory, and this friend. And then the friend also tweeted at Tory Lanez, your days the number to like count your days, but then she deleted it. But Twitter quick, they already got the screenshots. So it makes people wonder, like, was something happening, going crazy, and then Tory shot Meg? Who really knows?
All I know is that I
don't know if Tory shot Meg or not.
So let me say this, and it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but this is just a case in point. Black people, you have no business being around a Jenner or a Kardashian, because Black people, it's like an omen.
It's called the Kardashian curse.
It's a curse. If you're around them Kardashians, something bad gonna happen to you if you're Black.
Well, what's his face didn't get shot?
Who?
Well, Kanye didn't get shot.
Well, look at
Kanye got worse than shot. Kanye got mental issues. He in the sunken place. Lamar Odom turned into a crack addict.
He was already a crack addict before he met.
Yeah, but it got worse. He OD'd and almost died.
Jordan Woods had to go.
That was when they were separated when he OD'd.
About her cheating man that she's still.
I'm not coming to their defense. I'm just saying that. Like,
I'm just saying it sounded like you was.
They have it seems. No, I'm just saying that. My point is that they have their own issues apart from them.
Yeah, but you know who's okay though? Travis Scott is fine.
Everybody loved Meg Thee Stallion. She just popped out of nowhere and got shot. Like ain't nobody having.
But she was hanging out with them Kardashians. You need to stay her butt home. Hang out with Beyonce. Stop being with them Kardashians.
All right. See what is this? You defending them?
Yeah.
What is this? Y'all defending the Kardashians?
Let's not act like he didn't have his own problems and his own issues.
Y'all defending these Kardashians?
Travis Scott
them. I'm just saying.
Okay, and
poor Tigger. He ain't never been the same since he's been with them Kardashians.
Did you just call that man Tigger?
He sure did.
He did.
Just don't do
it. Chris is trash, and they'd probably rather be shot than what they all got. That is fact. Travis Scott is the only one who came out of this kind of sort of stuff.
Right now.
For now.
Y'all just wait.
For now.
Everybody knock on wood.
For now.
Y'all just wait.
So Viola Davis got a photo shoot with, somebody tell me the name of the magazine.
Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair. Right now. And it was the first time that Vanity Fair let a black person be the photographer
photograph
for the cover of it, and it was a great and beautiful.
It was a beautiful shot.
But what was funny about it was, hopefully somebody in the comments, I really hope somebody in the comments can remember what it was, because I don't remember. Because another big famous like Vogue level, might have been Vogue, might not have been Vogue, I can't remember, had a photo shoot literally same week, same cover, like cover release of a different black famous person, and it was trash. It was absolutely garbage, and it kind of sort of started this rhetoric on Twitter of basically how the industry across movies, television, photography don't really know how to properly light black people.
Makeup
with Simone Biles. I think that's who it was.
Was that the trash one? I think Simone Biles.
And it was Vogue.
Yeah, it was Vogue and Simone Biles.
How's she looking?
That one doesn't. That one actually doesn't even look as bad as most of them. Most of them, they were showing multiple examples, and it was Viola.
She ain't got no neck.
And it was like, no, it's not that she ain't got no neck. It's the coloring that they use and the poor lighting when used for black people and the entertainment industry.
The orange.
I feel like if you know who you're, I'm sure they tell them who they're going to be shooting or doing their makeup or hair before they get to set. My thing is that if you don't have experience in it, say something.
They don't care.
Like you're literally like
wasting
everybody's time by just not either educating yourself or having backup resources. Like, hey, I'm going to bring this person on set because I don't know what I'm doing, really. And maybe they can guide me while I'm doing this. And then work out a deal with them where you give them a piece of whatever. But like, that's funny. But like, yeah, like I don't understand. Instead of, because to me, like you're wasting my time if you're trying to. You know what? I had that experience at a hair salon where this lady tried to like do my hair, and it was just. It was bad. She didn't know what she was doing. She was like trying to straighten, but didn't get it at the root. It was just kind of like, I don't know how to do your hair. And this was before, because my texture changed. I don't know what happened. But this was before whatever this hair is.
It's called old.
And shut up. And it was before I went natural. And yeah, so like, I just feel like if you don't know, say something. Like, or ask somebody, bring somebody on.
Wow.
But I mean, it's a lot, because then if you don't know, then you got to say you don't know, and then you might not get booked for the next shoot. Regardless of who it is. So you try to protect your own bag, and some other people don't care. And also, it's not necessarily crazy often that sometimes that black people even get put on the covers of these magazines. So like, we don't need to go out of our way to learn how to do black people, because we're only going to do them like once a year. So.
Right.
So
and a lot of people sometimes have their own teams that specialize in these things that they like. Okay,
it depends, but yeah.
Wait, what was the question, Matt? I'm sorry, I think I missed it. I thought you said something, but I don't think that's what you said. What'd you say?
Who, me?
Yeah,
I was saying a lot of people sometimes have their own teams that do
famous people.
Yeah, like doing like their black people would be like, okay, they know how to do my makeup, they know how to do my hair. And stuff like that. So they'll kind of like, hire them to like come with them on photo shoots, come with them to do whatever they're doing for this particular reason.
Yeah.
So I have two things. I just want to shout out to the again to the Vanity Fair and just name the photographer. His name is Dario Calmes. And so just wanted to shout him out because again he did a spectacular job. But I think then also just to like your point, just to piggyback, Matt. It's not just about who's doing your hair or your makeup. You also have to think about the lighting, thinking about who's editing the photos, and making sure that they're not over editing. Because I think remember when Kerry Washington had a cover on I think what was it, like Vanity Fair or something? It didn't look like her. People were upset. They were complaining.
Yeah, I know what you're
saying. And then one more thing. I think there was something on the Instagram account Strong Black Lead for Netflix, where they were having a sit-down conversation with black female actresses. Oh, you pulled up the picture? They did a sit-down with black female actresses, and they were talking about their own experiences on sets and cover shoots. and talking about how, you know, you have these people that are forced upon you that don't understand your beauty, that don't understand things. One lady, she was like, the lead from She's Got to Have It. She was like, I had edge cream, I had edge control, and the white lady, she would go in and barely touch my edges and then wash her hands every time she did it. So she said that her hairstylist made a portfolio so that wherever she went, she could have this folder of things and say, this is what, you know, I'm used to. And, you know, it's a shame that understanding Black beauty is not an industry standard at this point. And I hopefully that changes.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. This and
what is that word?
Look, I wasn't going to leave it up there.
Again? Just Caucasian. I think she wanted to say Caucasian.
Y'all had to correct her. Y'all know what she was trying to say. Just read it.
Right. Read between the
lines. Ask the question. Talking
about something. What was the word? You know what it was. But no,
Matt just being petty.
That makes up a great point as well, because yes, white skin tones are still the industry standard when it comes to photography and film. The film that they use, the industry standard of how the industry even started, the settings were used to photograph, to get photographs and film of, fair white skin, and a lot of those are still used today. And the industry's got to come up with the times and realize that everyone looks different, not even just for just all types of skin tones, but
right.
Hopefully one day we'll get there. Hopefully,
who knows? But hopefully, because people are learning, and this is a day and age where you have groundbreaking things like the first Vogue cover shot by an African American. The Redskins are changing their name now.
Mm-hmm.
Vanity Fair, I'm sorry. The Redskins are changing their name. When Beyonce did a Vogue cover, she forced them to use a Black photographer for the cover photo, and they had their first groundbreaking cover photo as well. We are living in an age where we're seeing a lot of groundbreaking and a lot of things changing. And so hopefully that tends to be the norm, where we continue to see this brown breaking, and glass ceilings getting shattered.
Like you want to see enough groundbreaking things and people breaking the quote unquote glass ceiling enough, so then it's not the first ever. It's not groundbreaking anymore. It's just how it is.
That's our society.
Yeah,
we live in a better society.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we're at an hour, and I'll leave it up to y'all three. We can end it here at this solid hour. We can do the one gotta go, or we can save it for next week.
We can save it for next week.
Let's do the one gotta go. Okay. I wanted to do it.
Let's save it for next week.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
What do you want to do?
Aaron, didn't you say you had something to do?
Well, I don't no longer have that thing to do.
Oh.
So,
why you tell us that? I was rushing to get on here.
Well,
you're leaving it up to me? I don't want it to be left up to me.
All right, so we're going to do it. One gotta go, Will Smith movies edition. We got Hitch.
I didn't want to pick a...
Wait. We should specify that this is a better time. This is a better one this time, because we have seen the movies this time. So Aaron is not going to yell at us.
Yes, I'm not going to yell, because allegedly they told me last, because we picked this list.
Did you watch all these movies?
We picked this list last week in the after show, and we said we've seen all these movies, and we were like, these are some of Will's best, and we said we've seen them all.
Yeah.
So one gotta go, and all your memory of this movie, all your quotes from this movie basically no longer exists. Hitch, Pursuit of Happiness, Bad Boys, and Independence Day. Now, the way we do this, for those of you who don't know, you start with the ones you want to keep, and then whichever one is left is the one that has to go. So to start, I'm keeping Hitch first. Hitch is one of my, outside of just Will Smith movies, Hitch is one of my favorite movies. I can rewatch that movie at least once a month and not get tired of it. I love Kevin James. I love Will Smith. It's hilarious. It's cute. It's funny. It's great. Whoever wants to go next. Go ahead, Darnell.
So my first pick to keep is Bad Boys. Just growing up, it was one of those movies that I watched with my cousins. It was like a Friday movie. It was like, Bad Boys. That was like the string of movies that we watched whenever we got together and we stayed the night at each other's houses. And probably because of, I think it was like the second movie at least, that the dead corpse scene. I ain't even gonna get into it. But either way, we loved Bad Boys growing up, so that's my first pick because it's nostalgia.
How does Ali not make the list? Because we talked about it.
Aaron's the one that made the list, so be angry at him.
No, we made the list as a collective. Don't do that.
My first pick to keep it.
What happened?
My first pick to keep is also Bad Boys.
A little spicy.
That's one of my favorite series of movies, even though I haven't seen the third one yet. I know I'm slacking, but
I'm not gonna see it.
You haven't seen the third?
No, I haven't seen the third one yet, but I love the first two. Also, my favorite scene is when the son comes to date the daughter, and then Martin Lawrence would answer the door. Yeah, so I'm definitely keeping Bad Boys first.
My first is Pursuit of Happiness. I picked that one because everybody else picked all the others, so I wanted to be different. But yeah, no, that is a keeper. It's a tearjerker, and the fact that it's based on a true story is also beautiful. And yeah.
All right, Aaron,
you're next. Aaron, you're next.
I know. I was trying to read a comment. I don't know what RTT is. I don't
know.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know what RTT is either. All
right, my next one.
That's your mama.
Look, the next one I'm keeping is Bad Boys. For a lot of the reasons they said, as everyone else said. I really liked the movie. It was great. Nothing much I gotta say about it. Nothing bad.
Real trash talk. Like I'm trying to guess.
So my next one is Independence Day. Again, it's
Red Table Talk. Will.
Oh.
I'm throwing it all away.
So my next one is Independence Day only because again it's a part of that sense of nostalgia. And that's just one of those movies that I would always watch growing up on the television. And I thought that it was iconic.
Darnell, we're on the same wavelength because my second was also Independence Day, just because I just always loved the concept. Like alien type movies I enjoy. And especially the speech at the end is very inspirational. It hits me right here.
Early into the night.
I loved it. I loved the Independence Day speech. So yeah, so keep it that second.
My second would be Bad Boys. I'm not going to tell you what age I was when I watched it because you're going to be ashamed of me. But
in life,
she was 35. 35.
Huh?
Was it later in life? You're saying? Were you in high school?
She was 35 when she watched it.
You were in high school.
Let's not get into this.
It was after high school. She was 40.
It was after high school?
Anyway, you all know that I'm significantly older than you, so.
She was 40 years
old when
she watched it, y'all.
So, and I liked Bad Boys, the last one. And I feel like the way he ended the last one, it seems like they're coming out with another one. Just because they just ended on a very cliffhanger-ish type of note.
So, yeah.
But, yeah. So that's my other pick.
All right. So now I have Pursuit of Happiness and Independence Day. So obviously when I pick my one, you're going to know what I'm getting rid of. And I'm keeping Pursuit of Happiness. And I'm letting go of Independence Day. I ain't going to hold you. I ain't really liked Independence Day that much as a child. I mean, it's smooth, but I'm like, it's all right. I feel like the CGI don't really be holding up and nowadays. And Pursuit of Happiness, I just like way more. And I'm a big gift person, and I don't know what I'd be able to do without the gifts and memes that are from Pursuit of Happiness. Typing down the street, the teardrop, staring in the eye, looking all sad, walking like this. Like I wouldn't be able to be on Twitter without those. And Independence, they don't got no good memes, so it can go.
So for me, since I'm at my last two, I think my last two are Independence Day and Hitch. No, Pursuit of Happiness and Hitch.
Yeah.
And so I'm choosing to keep Hitch. Only because Eva Mendes is fine, and watching her in that movie, Lord Jesus, that's a beautiful woman. She's just pretty all around. That's just she pretty. And why are you uncomfortable? I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about Ava. Anyway, I just think, and then also it's a good, funny movie. And then also Pursuit of Happiness. So I don't know how to say this, But y'all didn't hear me. I didn't really watch that movie. I watched like behind the scenes.
What in the world? I'm sorry now.
I can't.
I saw things where Will was talking about how proud he was that Jaden was crying on cue. I wasn't here for it. I just couldn't. I watched the end of the movie.
What in the world?
I can't.
What was the point of you agreeing with it if you didn't see it?
I didn't agree with it.
Nobody heard
I'm
you.
pretty sure
You
I
did, though. You did.
No, I
because
did
he
not.
Went through the list. He went through the whole list. Now wait. Now I'm going to be the Aaron of the group. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's move on. So I'm also down to Hitch and Pursuit of Happiness. I have seen both movies. But I'm choosing also to keep Hitch because, Pursuit of Happiness, I got enough movies and shows and whatever that's going to make me cry. I'd rather watch a comedy. Also love Kevin James. And I don't know, Hitch is just more of a memorable movie to me.
Aaron is stressed.
Well,
I think
Matt, Camille, thank you so much for sharing your and playing One Gotta Go
Camille
with
didn't
it.
finish it. Camille finished. You got
go ahead, Camille, and then I'll say thank you again. But so far, once again, thank you for playing. But continue.
Mine is I have Hitch and Independence Day. I picked Hitch. Independence Day was just all right.
It was all right.
I really didn't like it like that. I love Independence Day.
Did, to be honest with you, I haven't like all these other movies on this list. I've seen Hitch. Like I said, I saw Hitch 2 months ago. But like Pursuit of Happiness, I watched last year. Bad Boys, I watched last year. I probably haven't seen Independence Day in like at least 5 years.
I didn't watch it this 4th of July, but I think I watched Independence Day.
Don't worry, it's coming.
I think I watched Independence.
It's coming.
I think I watched the past 2 or 3 4th of July, not this one though.
I'm gonna holler at us off camera.
Want to make sure everybody got their.
Just like you said, you haven't seen Independence Day in a while. That's probably Pursuit of Happiness for me because I don't know. It
is sad. I ain't gonna hold you. It's sad and it's long. It's sad and long.
Yeah, and it's
every now and then.
It's just like draining on me sometimes. It's like I can't do this.
But then in the end, when you get it all together, you be like,
really rooting for him.
But so like I said, thank you too for seeing all of these movies, and it's crazy how the four of us basically talked for like a half hour after last week's show to make sure, because we went through a couple of different movie stars, talked about a couple of different movie genres that we were really trying to do. And it's really crazy that we went over this list multiple times. We took like a whole half hour after the show to make sure we had this list. And nowhere in that process did anyone say they hadn't seen these 4 movies. So I just think it's crazy that someone.
I think you
weren't listening to me.
I think we went over the 4 before we got on live too, right?
We went over before we got on live. We went over last week.
Yeah.
I just think it's really crazy. But any final thoughts for Matt and Camille?
Y'all not gonna deny me.
Final thoughts. Nope. I usually don't. I don't really know what else to say. My headache went away, so that was great.
Well, that's good.
I think Aaron just got a migraine.
Yeah, from you.
My final thought is that I just want everybody to remember this anger that they feel about anti-Semitism, race talk.
I feel towards you right now.
Let's remember this anger.
I remember
when we go to the polls in November, because Trump has displayed all of that type of attitude.
I'm gonna hit you.
Anti-Semitism. What'd you say? You got my address. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. What you want to do? I ain't scared.
Matt,
I ain't
any thoughts,
scared.
Matt?
No, just everybody.
I didn't watch the movie.
Everybody have a good rest of your week.
I watched the end of the movie.
Wow, what is that, like 5%?
Exactly.
Yeah, just everybody have a good rest of your week and everything like that. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed the show.
All right, y'all. We out of here.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
I was about to get screamed at.
Bye.
I need to fill up my water bottle for this.